Yes. We are back. It is the Cashworthy Podcast. I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the Twitter machine, here with the VP of Research and EJ the Savage. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
What's good?
What up, dude?
What up?
Tis October 7th, Monday Eve, Ning. And we are here for episode 31.
Mm-hmm.
Was a decent weekend of football.
Not for the Jets.
Never for the Jets. Next week it'll be even nastier for the Jets. Those poor guys.
We'll see about that, buddy.
I will say if the Cowboys lose to the Jets, I'm not potting for about a month because I don't want to hear your mouth.
They lose to the Jets. Jason Garrett got to get fired.
Yeah. Indeed. So, VP, did you do anything this weekend?
Nah, man. Just kind of hung out at the crib, watch a little TV. That's about it. Some football, etc.
Okay.
What about you?
I didn't do much of anything. Before we get started, though, where we can be found, as you can see scrolling across the bottom, for those of you watching us on YouTube, you can find us at Castworthy_podcast on Instagram, or you can search Castworthy or Castworthy Podcast everywhere else: Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and most importantly, YouTube. We have now incorporated video into our podcast, and we think that it's a little more. You can feel it a little more when you could see our expressions and stuff like that. So follow us on YouTube, share the videos. You can share them everywhere on your Instagram, on your Facebook, etc. And comment, like, leave us a message. No, I didn't do much of anything this weekend, VP. It was a slow weekend. For me, sports. Watched the preseason game for the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. So that was interesting seeing AD and LeBron together. Saturday night, I worked Saturday and then did that Saturday night, and then Sunday was a fun-filled day of football. But
did you guys go watch the game somewhere?
Yeah, I went to my living room.
Yeah, I watched at home as well.
However, Facebook showed us that EJ the Savage had a more eventful weekend. What was your weekend like, EJ?
Keeping the content fresh. Man. So Friday. No, I don't even remember what I did Friday. I have no clue what I did Friday at all. But Saturday. Oh no, so Friday I was supposed to go to a comedy show, but then I wound up going to like this act storing thing. I didn't do the act storing piece, but I just went to like the lounge that I normally go to, hung out a little bit, and then Saturday went to Baltimore Taco Festival, which was interesting. A lot of sights, a lot of sounds. I saw a lot of weird stuff. A lot of women with like super fake asses. Like that was weird. Like I had never seen so many. I'd never seen so many in one place here. Like I'd never seen that before. Yeah, me and my old lady went out.
Is this who'd you go with? Who were you out with?
Yeah, my old lady, man. My old lady.
Oh,
my old lady. Went to the Taco Fest.
What does old lady mean? Because I know down here in Florida, these Southern people, and I'm just sure VP could tell you, a lot of people refer to their old lady as their mom in Florida. So I want to make sure that.
No.
No?
Your mom is your old girl.
Oh, Silly me,
Oh,
silly me for being
it's neither of those up here.
right. Exactly, it's your mom,
Neither of those up there. Up
mom,
here is your mom's.
mom Dukes,
Mom Dukes.
your
Moms.
old Earth. If you're a Wu Tang fan,
Oh man. But yeah, man. Lady I'm dating right now, and went out there, rocked out Taco Fest for hours and hours. Had some luchador wrestling going on, ate a lot of tacos. And then Saturday night went to a bachelor party, man, which I didn't wake up till the next day from till about 11 o'clock in the morning.
is that why you didn't pod with us on Sunday morning?
That's exactly why. I didn't catch the messages until literally like 11:15. I didn't know if I was alive, but it was a
Um,
hell of a party. It was over about 12 girls. It was a hell of a party. That's all I will say.
is is this a new friend that you were hanging out this weekend with?
I mean, new to the public. New to the public. Yeah.
I saw there was a headboard in the back of one of those images.
Well, just over there. I was, pre head out type moment, just sitting there, waiting for the
Oh,
Uber come
oh, is
along.
that okay? That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, nothing crazy.
Hmm, okay,
Nothing crazy.
yeah. What was I thinking?
I
Uh,
don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
all right. Well, that sounds like you had a pretty eventful weekend.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I saw
It's always-
Joker today. I saw Joker today.
You saw the Joker?
Yeah, saw that today.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, I've read nothing but good reviews about it.
I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I would like to see
I don't
it.
know, man. It was a complete film. It's not, if you're going into it thinking one thing, because it is comic based. It was more a film, like a real complete type drama film, but it had elements of Batman if you follow the universe, of course. But I don't know. Some
It's dark.
people, I can see, yeah, very much so. I could see some people saying they won't like it. But I think Phoenix did a phenomenal job. Yeah, man, we gotta keep an eye on him. That's all I'm gonna say. We gotta watch him. Gotta watch him, yo, because I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's probably drugged up like Jared Leto, just trying to capture it all.
I don't know, man.
You
We
can't be that twisted without even like fucking what's the nigga's name that died?
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, another one that was drugged up, to try and capture the darkness and craziness of the Joker character.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, man. I mean, and it. Yeah, you guys got to see it when you get a chance. It's a good complete film. I really don't. I'm trying to be critical of it because I try to be objective in these
Right.
comic book movies. I'm really trying to be critical of it. I don't have too much that I have that but I recommend people go see it for sure.
They're pulling it down out of theaters in Connecticut. Thursday is the last day you can see it in Connecticut. And I saw some theaters here in Florida pulled it down as well because they said that well, Connecticut is saying that it makes a play on, or it's kind of condoning mental illness and or whatever, something like that. And you could tell us better because we haven't seen it. But here in Florida, the article I read said that it was something about they were concerned with it leading to mass shootings or a mass shooting potentially.
I mean, the Connecticut reasoning, I don't know. It definitely showed a lot of mental illness elements. I don't know that, I'm sure that I don't know what they were trying to say it was trying to do with it, but I mean, it definitely harped on it a lot. And I don't think in a way that I don't think in a way that's detrimental to society at all that we haven't already seen on screen at some point. But the mass shootings portion, I don't know that it would incite mass shooting versus some other things. But like any other movie, I just, I think they were really dark with this one. They were really dark with this one, and I can see some of the concerns. So I can't even lie. I can see some of the concerns. I ain't even gonna lie. I can see it.
I plan on trying to go make myself available to see it.
Yeah, I can definitely see the concerns. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Um. So, I mean, you got yourself a new damsel. Um. And so
Sure.
we were talking. We were talking about something. And I mean, I guess this plays right into it, right? So our first topic that we kind of thought about talking about tonight, and VP came up with it, and I'd like to know a little bit about, what made you um bring it up, VP. Is flirting cheating? I'm gonna let you guys go on this. Give me something, VP. Well, first of all, what made you bring this topic up? I'm sure there was a conversation. There's something going on that.
Well, it's somebody I follow on Twitter. Is I know it's like a female journalist. I don't know if it was Jamil or Soledad or one of them, but one of them posted it, and so I thought it would be something interesting to talk about here on the podcast. Since we do, we've done a lot of politics and dark shit. So I figured not necessarily this is light, but just kind of change a pace a little bit, and just see what everybody thinks about it.
Motherfuckers
Well,
cheat
what
every
do you think?
Um,
You've been with your what do you guys call it again? Old girl? No, old girl is your mom. Uh, you've been with your boo thing now for a long time. We'll just say a
Yeah.
long time.
Long
That's your high school sweetheart. So what's your take on it?
I don't necessarily think that is cheating, but I would say that flirting is cheating adjacent. And the reason why I say that is that
Adjacent.
this motherfucker's good.
the reason why I say that is that flirting involves a mental component, right? So maybe you've been checking this person out and noticing things about them, and oh, you look nice when you wore such and such, or you should smile, you too cute to be looking like that, and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so in the grand scheme of things, I think no, it's not. But due to it having that mental component to it, that's why I say it's kind of cheating adjacent, if that makes sense.
Okay. That's it. That's all you got on it.
Cheating adjacent. Wow. What is
Adjacent.
cheating adjacent? This motherfucker's good.
He made
I'm
up
not
his own
cheating.
shit.
It's cheating adjacent.
I think we have a title for this episode.
Cheating adjacent. Wow.
Cheating adjacent. All right. So, EJ, does your new friend know that you do this podcast?
She does. She
Will
does.
she be listening?
I haven't gotten there yet. So that's some pretty toxic shit. That's some pretty toxic shit. I don't know.
Like,
But
you
no.
shouldn't listen to anything before 35.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. Yeah,
She
yeah.
can start today.
We
Or-
did talk about it. We did talk about it a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah. But flirting, cheating, man. Sheesh. I think VP is right because there is a mental aspect of it. There is a mental aspect of the in the intent that see I don't for me, I'm not even gonna lie, when I was in serious committed relationships and I was trying to be committed, I didn't do it, because I didn't really see the point. Like, I think when you're flirting, you're kind of there has to be some kind of end game to it, and most people that are flirting are in situations where they have an ability to go far. If you're the married guy that's being flirted with, you have an ability at that point to respond, but really the person initiating it, do they really have what are their real intentions? So that was always my thing. And I think when women in relationships flirt, I think it says a lot more, just because the social dynamics of society, most guys, if a guy's single and a lady's in a relationship, most guys are looking at that window to be like, oh, she flirting with me, I'm gonna get some. You know what I'm saying? Where women have that power and control to just turn it on and turn it off. And like when a dude flirts, to them, it's nothing. Like, what I mean? The dude could hold the door and flirt. It means nothing. But when a woman flirts with a dude, that's a little bit more inviting, and not that the woman is doing anything completely wrong. But as guys, we're looking at this woman that we might desire, and she's flirting with me, you know, we gonna take that and run. Like, there is no in between. Like, oh, you flirt with me, I'm about to get the draws, or I'm thinking I can get it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I've been with women that flirted. You know what I mean? And I ain't like that shit. Like, yo, you're inviting the situation. You're potentially creating something that doesn't need to be there. And I mean, there's ways not to flirt. And I mean, then it's also interpretation. Like, if you're having, if this person's having a conversation and and they're just getting into it, is that flirting? But I mean, I've literally been with people that I've watched continually go on to flirt with a dude, and I'm like, yo, in front of you, that's even worse. So I don't know, man. I don't personally, I wouldn't do it so much. What I say is cheating. I'm gonna say it's cheating adjacent. It's on the cusp of you doing something. You might be thinking about doing something, you know what I mean? Because I've been around people that just don't flirt with other people at all. They don't have any real intention. They don't really have any desire to do it. So, it's I think, to sum it up, I think it all depends on who it's coming from, what's the intent, and what's your status? What's your I mean, obviously, if we're asking if it's cheating, somebody's in a relationship, but I definitely think it makes a difference if it's coming from the woman to the man, and of course, what's the intent of the flirt?
Okay. So I think you're right. I think you kind of tap danced around it a little bit because you got your little boo thing, probably a little
Nah,
bit.
nah.
But but yeah. So kind of dissecting, right? For the woman to man thing,
Mhm.
um, it it makes sense, right? Because you know just being 100% transparent, right? How many times have you been in a conversation with the homies and they like, yo, shorty want the dick? You know what I'm saying?
Put it up.
Like,
Put it
you know what I'm saying?
on up.
Like, shorty I work with, she bought a nigga some donuts today. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Like, or
mhm,
went through the drive-through, ordered a 20 piece, she gave me 25, bitch at
mhm.
McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, um so dudes take shit out of proportion.
Yeah,
Um,
facts.
but uh, is it cheating? So I guess it depends on what level of flirting you're referring to, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think that men can flirt harmlessly, right? I think if you know that you have a coworker or somebody that has a low self-esteem, um, you can say something that can come across as flirting, but the intent is not to flirt, you know. Um, again, it depends on what level of flirting you're referring to. Like sexual jokes and shit like that, that's cheating. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
and there's no going back because like you said, what's the end goal here, with the flirt? Um, you know, shit. I would flirt with my boss. Like if it means a come up, if it means potentially getting a $20,000 raise or some shit like that, a year, absolutely,
Nah, man. you not you
absolutely.
not gonna get no raise for just flirting. You gonna have to you gonna have to do a little more than that, buddy.
Going to HR.
No, but that to your point, like I've been in that situation. I've seen it, with a lady friend of mine or whatever we call her in the past, but flirt with somebody and literally carry it on. And it's just like, oh well, at the end of the day, this like and it's always the intent. It's always the intent to me. It's always like, what were you thinking? Like, oh well, he's helping me with this. Oh shit, I was thinking I might get a little something shaved off. I'm like, but okay, at the end of the day, is the flirtation really worth that reward? Because nobody's gonna be doing anything for you for free. It's gonna, you know what I mean? Like if you know what I mean, even in a beneficial situation, it's not, ain't nothing coming from that. And it's like I could see if you randomly go to the movies somewhere and the girl taking your money is flirting slightly, and you getting your tickets and you out, and it's a little chuckle here and there. Even that I can see somebody looking at, like I've been looked at like, motherfucker, what's your problem? You know what I mean? But when you constantly going on and you carrying this on, and then it's like, as a person that's engaging in the flirting, if I'm in a relationship, you always 9 times out of 10 already feel the vibes of that person. You already know what type time they're on. So it's like, if you choose to engage that, and this is like a daily thing or just in that moment, and you see that they really coming at you, I would kind of say you're at some point you're cheating because you're carrying it on. Like, what is your intention of doing that? Like, what is your purpose of flirting with that person? Like you said, to a degree, like at work, if somebody has low self-esteem, somebody might perceive me saying you look nice today, or I like how your hair is, that that could be perceived as flirting, but that's just complimenting. But if we going in and you talking slick and I'm talking slick, and I know in my mind I'm thinking, yeah, I'm about to put it on up, like but it's like, what is your intent, man? And it leads to stuff like, that's the thing. Like, and I think the reason, this cheating adjacent shit is new to me, but I like it. But I think why it's fitting, because flirtations, if the intent on somebody's behalf, on both parties' behalf, is to do more, it's gonna lead to more. Literally, it is literally no reason to do it unless you really have some sort of intent behind it, that no way you can defend it, even if you're trying to get a discount, or it's all about that level where you going, and it's 20 minutes later and y'all still flirting, y'all still going. Ain't nobody coming out just for a smile, man. It ain't happening. It's just
What
not happening.
about
So
a woman that's like a server or a
just
bartender,
just about to ask that.
that's doing it like for the tips? What would you guys think? Like, if let's say you frequent Buffalo Wild Wings, would you say that because they throw you a little eye or something, that they want the BBC, or like
So so for that, I think it's different, and that's something I always tell my wife. Like, when you go to a spot, I always feel like male servers work harder because they got to work for their tip, and a female server, especially if she's serving a guy, they might, wink at him, or what can I get for you, hun, and shit like that, hey sweetie, that kind of shit, because they know how guys are, like how what EJ said earlier, you know what I mean? Like, the chick says, what can I get for you, sweetie, and the dude is thinking, oh, she wants to give me some ass, I'm you know what I'm saying?
sounds
So
about right.
so for that, I don't necessarily see a problem with it, because that's part of the job, right? That's just like if you go to the strip club, right? Like, that's part of the fantasy. Them chicks don't like you. They want you to start throwing some dollar bills. You know what I'm saying? So it's whether or not you, as the person who's receiving that, can separate the reality from the fiction. You know what I'm saying? But in a context like, a work situation or whatever, that's totally different than a restaurant situation like you brought up, Steve.
So what about if because all right, so let's say somebody holds the door for a young lady, and she throws them a little smile. Is that cheating?
Huh.
It's only cheating. See, we got to go back to the perspective of things. Is she in a relationship or am I in a relationship? Because from that point on, if I take the smile and then I run a mile with it, what's my intent at that point? If I continue the flirtation going on, and then where are you working at, and what's going on with you, like, trying to, at that point I've taken it and I ran with it. And even with the serving situation, while the server might not be cheating, they're just doing their job. How am I receiving it? What is my intent now when I'm giving it back? Because I might have a waitress and I just be like, it's all good, and not keep it short, and or we'll talk like, oh, your team's trash or something like that, and we'll keep it at that. But it's like, what is the intent of the person receiving it? What's the intent of the person throwing it out? If I, like you said, VP, if I know that they're just doing their job, I mean, yeah, the Neanderthal in me is gonna be like, she won't get the D, but the rational person is just like, you just, what I mean, talking.
Yeah.
So setting, I think, makes a difference too. To y'all point,
Okay.
setting makes a difference.
I think it's cheating if a woman does it, but I don't think it's cheating if a man does it.
I agree.
Okay. So let me ask you this though. Let me flip the context a little bit, right?
I want to hear VP. That's all. I don't really think that. I just wanted to hear you because I know you're.
Nah, I mean, I kind of agree with that a little bit. So it's like, no argument from me. But let me flip the context a little bit and put it back into like that work context that Steve was bringing up earlier, right? And when you look at people who have like the work wife or the work husband, because them motherfuckers always flirting with each other, and I think most outsiders look at it like, oh, they just, always fucking around, whatever. But, like, is like, should that shit be looked at as suspect?
Hell yeah, I definitely listen. I never had a work wife because people try to do that to me before. I was like, nah, I'm telling you straight up. If I feel it's going that way, I'm trying to fuck. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry. I mean, I gotta see situations with people coming in. They giving they work husband a massage, bringing them lunch. They out on lunch breaks. 20, 30 minutes. I mean, you just never know what people taking this stuff. And then you just never know how many people have stuff going on in their actual relationships at home. You know what I mean? So if you got a work wife situation where the actual husband, and then it's like, well, how does the husband really feel about it? Do you tell your husband you got a work husband? You know what I'm saying? So I don't play with that because you just never really know. Like, I work with a lot of women and a lot of married women, and first of all, a lot of them come into work, dressed a little, I don't know, I don't want to say scantily, but
like a little harlot.
a little bit. And some of them you can tell, like, there are a lot of them, like some of the really, really pretty ones that are married. They don't say nothing to nobody. Like, if you ain't got nothing to do with them, they like, how you doing? Keeping it moving. You know what I mean? There's some that just as bad, and they be in there flirting. They be with it in everybody's face. Joints is out. Giving people the looks, and just all in other dudes' faces. And then it's like, oh well, what if they're a social butterfly? Yeah, I get it, but they're clearly flirting with people consistently. So it's like, again, man, you have those certain instances, and people just know people. And the other thing is too, the perception. What is the message that you might be sending? While they might be thinking they're innocently flirting, the other person on the receiving end is really thinking something else. And just just to not have it go that way, I would think you would want to avoid that situation. You know, like I said, I've seen some of these women, bro, they'll talk to you from a distance if you got a direct question for them. But other than that, they not even looking your way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's the intent, and what is the message you're trying to push out there? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't engage in the work wife thing. First of all, I work in a call center with nerds. So I don't know what it's like to work with pretty women. So
Wow.
no,
Wow.
no. Let me take that back. What I meant is EJ said, the ones that, what did you say, that are really pretty?
Nah, I mean, I work in an environment where it's 85% women. So I mean, and I mean, all of them for the most part, like I would say 75% are beautiful women. You know what I mean? Like beautiful women, some of the best that this area has to provide. So it's like some of them that are just really stupid pretty and they're married. They don't even talk to you. Some of them that are equally as pretty are super flirtatious. You wouldn't even know that they married. You know what I mean?
Most of the women in, like, because I work for with technical support, like, so most of the women that work in in that field, they're call center pretty, right? Meaning meaning, like, if you took them and put them downtown at the bars, like on a Friday, Saturday night with the baddies, you probably would be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, it's like,
Oh my goodness.
what what comedian was it that was like, you've been starving all day, you had that cracker, and you're like, damn, it's the best damn cracker I ever had in
Oh, man.
you know, you go to work, you're just not used to seeing it. You know what I mean? And so when something that, a 5 in regular world is probably like an 8. You know what I mean? In
Mm.
in call center world, like technical call center world, obviously, like customer service, billing, and shit like that. Those call centers, I can imagine, might be a little different. VP, shit, you work in a call center, and in the and I used to work in that same call center, and the dynamic was completely different because it was a different type of service and role that was being offered there. There was a lot more individuals that people might be willing to risk it, flirting or whatever the case
Yeah.
is, as opposed to, technical support.
Yeah.
It's just not what you think. Um, so yeah, that probably didn't go over well. I hope nobody ever listens to.
Toxic.
Hope nobody listens to this one. Uh,
That's terrible.
but yeah, I think it's, all in all, for me, I think it's, if there's in sexual intent, then it's definitely cheating.
Yeah.
But
Cheating adjacent.
Yeah.
now it's cheating. It's cheating because because from a man's standpoint, and we kind of talked about it, but you got to think about it from a woman's standpoint. Like if a woman's walking in and she's like, geez, John, you're those pants look really good on you. You know what I mean? Like that belt really brings out your inner thigh. You know what I mean? Like, if that's a married woman, like, you wouldn't want your wife or your lady just saying something like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the kicker too at the end of the day. And I guess that's always been my rule of thumb. If I knew what you were doing would piss me off, should you be doing that? That's always the rule of thumb. You know what I mean?
right.
And then the point you made earlier, EJ, excuse me, the point that you made earlier about like what's the relationship status of the people involved, I think that's a good point too, because you have a dude that's single and you have the chick who's in the relationship, whether it's married or just boyfriend girlfriend type situation, and
Oh man, can't hear him. Can't hear him.
Oh, what happened to your audio, VP?
He went out on us. Sheesh.
What did
He
you
went-
do, man? I can't believe. You know what, man? I can't play these games with this guy. All this money I paid, you're not researching. You're not getting the audio right. I'm gonna need you to fix that and come back. Golly.
Probably a good point too.
Yeah, he'll be back, I'm sure. But yeah, so yeah, ultimately, and I think what he was, was it him that was saying, if you have the single man versus the
Yeah, versus a woman in a relationship,
okay,
of some sort.
all right, give it to us, VP. If you're a single man and a woman's married,
yeah, so the point that I was making was that in a situation like that, while the woman may think that she's just innocently flirting with this guy and there's nothing to it, this dude is on like a fact-finding mission, right? And all he's doing is just storing up information, and then some time goes by and he brings her, oh, here goes some coffee or some tea, don't you like this flavor? Oh man, wow, he's so considerate, that kind of shit. Next thing you know, he done made it in the zone to where you having personal conversations with him and shit. And all he's waiting for you to do is to say your dude fucked up, and oh, this motherfucker ain't take out the trash. Oh, I would never do no shit like that to you. See what I'm saying?
I would bring you your favorite. I would bring your favorite cookie from Chick-fil-A while I'm taking out the garbage.
Right, and all this motherfucker's doing is he's just working his way in while you just thinking, yeah, we're just friends, and he's on the fucking hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking women, man. Why are they so damn? They're like the most gullible creature. like I don't know if you guys have ever had a puppy, but like if you've had a puppy and you try to give them medication and they spit it out and then you put it like in a piece of cheese, they'll eat that shit right up. That's women. That's women. They be like, nah, I'm married. I ain't fucking with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as he come up with the Chick-fil-A cookie, she done forgot completely. Oh, I'm married. He didn't take out the garbage.
Yeah.
Fickle creatures.
Because on the inverse, man, it's like if we getting it thrown at us, it's it's pretty much curtains.
I prefer it not be thrown at me because I'm a card-carrying member of the faithful male community.
Man, yeah, nah, that's a good point, VP.
Yeah.
Black men don't cheat.
Amen.
So, Botham Jean. Let's move on from that because
Botham Jean.
I'm trying to I got to make the podcast funny. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Botham Jean. So a lot of shit has happened. I mean, we talked about it last week before the sentencing of Geiger. And or I mean, if you want to call that a sentencing, shit. I mean, they pretty much fucking let her off scot-free. Like, I know people that got drug charges that doing more than 10 years. I know somebody, yeah. I know somebody that just got caught in, a in an assault charge that did 12 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was 12 years ago. You know what I mean? So, or 14 years ago. So they've been out for a bit now. But 10 years, like on a murder? Come on, man. Yeah. What do you guys think on that? I mean, I'm bothered.
I agree with you, man. And we've talked about this in the past, and I think it's just another bright example of the two-tiered justice system in this country, where they showed that she had the potential to get between 5 to 99 years. And that already in itself is a problem, that a murder charge could net you 5 years. Like, that's fucking insane to me, right? And then she gets 10 years, for murder. And the way that it works in jail, she'll probably get out with some good behavior or probation or whatever. She might do 5, 6, maybe 7 years tops, you know? And at the end of the day, you have to ask, like, is justice, was justice really served? You know what I mean? And the shit that's also foul about the situation to me is, I don't necessarily care about the brother or the mom or whoever in the family who decided to forgive this woman for killing their loved one. That's on them. People grieve however they grieve. But to see the people who are a part of the system in this particular case, where you had the court police officer brushing her hair and hugging her, and the judge hugging her and stuff like that, I thought that shit was insanely inappropriate, for that situation. At this point, this woman is a convicted murderer, you know, and while the judge may have sympathy for her and wants her to, be able to be reformed and become a good person in society once she's done her time, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you're supposed to be administering the law, and you coming down from the bench to hug this woman. I thought the shit was just so fucking wild, man. Like, 10 years was definitely not enough time.
Yeah.
I think she gets out after 6. I don't know if they have like the 6. Yeah, well, not the time served, but like a lot of states have a percentage on
80,
violent
85,
crimes.
85.
Yeah, it's 80, 85, or some of them are 60%. You know what I mean? And can she do 60% and get out on good behavior and get out after 6 years? You know what I mean? And then come out and do probation or parole or whatever for however long. There was no, I don't recall them saying there was any type of restitution to be paid to the family. So she'll do her time, she'll come out, and she'll be a free woman. She'll have an F on her report card, she'll have a felony, but shit, 10 years? There's some people that I really don't like that I'd be willing to lay down for 6 years if I knew for sure I was gonna get that same judge. They're gonna brush my hair and they're give me hugs and shit. Yeah, take them out. But yeah, to your point, VP, that was frustrating for me, that we saw the judge hugging her and the court police officer. If the roles were reversed and it was this white woman police officer that got killed by this black man in her home, forget about the time that he would have gotten, because they would have put his ass under. Matter of fact, they probably killed him. It's Texas, right? Shit, look at how isn't Texas where the kid from the documentary that we were talking about, god damn it, it's completely slipping my mind, the Netflix joint. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna have to look it up, but I think that's where he ended up going to jail, in the Central Park 6, 5.
Central Park 5.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
The one that was tried as an adult.
Talking about Corey?
Corey.
No, he was in Texas.
I think they sent him to Texas when he was getting beat up by that white dude. And he had the CO that was saying, "Oh, you if you need anything, let me know. You can pay me," and etc. 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 I think he was in Texas.
I thought he was in Rikers when that happened.
Yeah, he went to Rikers and then he went upstate. He went upstate to 2 different New York prisons. I don't remember him going to Texas,
because these were state crimes for the Central Park guys. They wasn't federal, so they would stay within New York.
Mm.
Nah, man. But going back to Geiger, you're right. When you put it in that context, and VP, you're absolutely right. When you talk about the two-tier justice system, let's also remember one, she's a female, which is perceptionally different in itself, and then she's a white female. And like I was reading something today on Facebook, basically summed up white privilege to a sense. White privilege doesn't mean your life hasn't been hard. It means that your skin color isn't one of the things making it harder. And in this sense, her skin color making it easier. And we just know statistically the justice system has been harsher for black males and black women and black people overall, which is some of the reason why I had some disdain for Senator Harris and things that she's done, but not going that way. But 10 years, man, like you said, like I know people in jail right now, doing 7, 8 for, like you said, assault. She blew this guy away and only got 10 years. But on the flip side, me and VP were nervous and leery that she would get convicted at all. So I mean, while it was a small victory in the fact that she was convicted, the sentencing wasn't up to par. I don't feel any way about the family hugging her. I've seen in rare cases where I have seen a judge hug someone that they just felt, and it was also a white woman. She just felt that white woman had a tough road, and she was baited in by her boyfriend. This was like some type of murder case where she was involved, and they felt sympathy for her. But I just, I don't know, man. It's shameful at the least is to just have this 10-year sentence, and like you said, it'll probably be reduced down to 6 years or less. And the other thing is, who is she really going to be in society when she comes out? Is she going to be somebody that gets another job somehow, some way by Dallas PD? Like, who is she really going to be? Who is she really? Like, did she kill his brother in cold blood? Was this really an accident? Um, do we really need to have somebody like this out in the streets that was getting drunk with a gun, a service weapon, and they're sworn officers? What kind of person would we really be letting back into society is another question.
Claiming it was a 14-hour shift that she worked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if did you guys hear the 911 call?
Yeah, I heard it.
So what frustrated me about that is she claimed she didn't know where she was. But when she called 911, she immediately knew what apartment she was in, right?
Mhm.
That's one. Number two, one of the first things out of her mouth after telling them what took place was, fuck, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not fuck, I got a young man bleeding out in my fucking hands or close by me or whatever the case. Not fuck, I just shot somebody in the chest in their home or however,
Mm-hmm.
not fuck, I may have just killed someone. It's fuck, I might lose my job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, to me, that's just completely disheartening, right? And just a lack of sensitivity. And if I was, if I was on the jury, I'm looking for more than 10 years. And I know that it sucks because we saw the family was so forgiving and shit like that, which makes me believe that there won't be a civil suit, and she's gonna end up getting off with doing 5-6 years, coming out and living, whatever life from there.
Book deals,
Oh, absolutely.
interviews,
Absolutely. Absolutely. They'll probably make a lifetime fucking
lifetime
movie
movie.
off of
Yeah.
her and shit.
Yep.
Um, but what about the shit that came out this week of the dude that that testified against her turning up dead?
Yeah.
Um,
Murdered.
Yeah.
Not turning up dead. Murdered.
right,
He
right.
was gunned down.
Being killed and nobody knows shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was yeah, that was crazy too, as well as the girl who, like, I think she recorded some video of the
Yep.
aftermath,
Yep.
and she ended up losing her job and she wasn't allowed to speak in public. And the police like confiscated her video, told her she couldn't talk to anybody about it, etc. And now people started saying like, oh, she's like a Black Lives Matter activist, and all of this bullshit like that, harassing her company about why they let her work there, and she's so, out there in this Black Power movement, et cetera, et cetera. And the company was like, we can't deal with this shit, and they ended up letting her go. So you had this one woman who was just a witness, lost her job. This other guy who was a witness, and from what I've read, a key witness,
Yeah,
he's lost his life.
Joshua Brown, he
Yeah,
26 years old. They said he had no gang affiliations. He's a roofer and Airbnb host. He pretty much pulled into the apartment complex and he was shot multiple times. And
yeah,
the attorney for Botham Jean's family is basically saying this was an assassination. They're not ruling out that Dallas PD may or may not have something to do with this. Um, but it just doesn't look good, man. And this is days after he testified. I mean, you
yeah,
can't tell me that this is a coincidence by
yeah.
no means. Like, and the people that shot him didn't steal anything.
Hmm.
There were no witnesses. Um, for him to just pull into his apartment complex and get shot several times, without any robbery attempts, without anything being stolen, days after he testified, there's no way you can tell me this is just coincidence. And then there's also some information coming out that he potentially was going to testify again against Dallas PD in maybe a related matter or something else. I don't know, because I mean he was there the night that this happened, so maybe he was going to testify about their response, or I don't know. But days after he testified, to just pull into his parking space and just get wet up, you can't tell me this is a coincidence. No way.
Yeah.
No way. And it's nasty, man, because guy's 26 years old, Joshua Brown, you know testifying as a witness. And you watch all of these cop movies. There's one coming out now with Tyrese, and I forget the other lady's name, but she's been in a couple of films recently. But virtually the premise of it is the premise of the movie. It's called Black and Blue, rather, and Naomi Harris. She's an Oscar nominee. Uh, she's alongside uh, she's alongside Tyrese in this one, and basically she's a rookie cop who witnesses a bunch of other cops doing something foul, and they pretty much spend the entire movie trying to take her out and stop her from reporting them. And you see these type of movies, man, and I'm huge on saying, art imitates reality. You know, um, Going back to even the 70s, when you had the Serpico situation, on how Serpico was basically trying to blow the whistle on a lot of his guys in his department, and they tried to take him out.
Hmm.
So we got reason to believe that at the very least this isn't too far of a possibility of being real. That Dallas PD may have had a huge role in this young man's death. Just days after testifying, he's just shot up randomly outside of his parking space, and in the parking lot. No gang tie affiliations, nothing. I mean, anybody who might have remotely thought their life would be in danger wouldn't just testify in court and then days later just go and assume their regular life as if nothing happens. And I mean, just days after, like, I mean, and even when you go back to the situation up here with Detective Sutter, we still don't have it's still not a solved case. That guy about to testify on his counterparts and coworkers was killed in action, and he was a federal witness. You know, um, I don't know, man. This shit is kind of scary. When you think about it, like if this is really if the police are really capable of these types of things, it's really fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think in 2019 that shit that you see in the movies, this is some shit that you would expect to see in the movies, or that you do see in the movies. That you wouldn't hear this type of stuff, especially for such a big case. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't like a local bullshit fucking state level case, or county or city level case. This was a pretty high profile case for the for her to get sentenced, and then, like you said, just days later, the the witness to get killed, and nobody knows shit. Come on, man. it,
Yeah.
it's it's too coincidental for me. And like you said, VP, the yeah, the the woman that caught the last moments on tape, she got fired from her job, and the
Uh-huh.
police confiscated the video.
Yeah.
And supposedly on that video, you hear Botham Jean asking, you know, Geiger, why did you kill me, or why did you shoot me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, it's fucked up, man. And then they asked this bitch if she in court. I don't know if you heard that part where they asked her, was she trained for CPR, trained in CPR? She said she was.
Uh-huh.
Being an officer of the law, you'd expect that she is. She said she was. They asked her if she performed CPR. She said yes. They asked her, was it to the best of her ability? She said no.
Wow.
She said she did not do her best. She could have done better. And when they asked her why, the bitch said because she didn't know where she was.
Yeah. She said she didn't know where she was. Yeah. This is nasty, man. This is nasty. And I think at some point, while she was convicted, while this was ruled on, at some point, and then maybe a far stretch to ask due to the administration, but at some point the Department of Justice needs to get involved in this.
Yeah.
Because if there is a video out there like that was confiscated, we need to know why. We need to know what it was on. We need to hear it. We need to know why they confiscated it. We need to know. This brother Joshua Brown's murder needs to be investigated. We need to know.
Uh-huh.
We need to
And
know.
this is when I say, when I joke around and I say I hate black people, like when Nipsey Hussle died and when we started all this conspiracy shit, and now you got this, and you're not seeing it. Like, this is where I expect people to fucking step up and be like, yo, there's got to be a conspiracy here. What the fuck did this man know? What did he do? Who did he cross? Like, there's no way it just plays out like that. You know what I mean? There's no way you can tell me that you can walk into somebody's house after a long day and just, with the TV on, right? So the TV is on. It's not pitch black. So with the TV on, that means that there's some type of light. So you couldn't tell that the couch wasn't yours. You couldn't tell that, the decorations, the pictures, the shit that you're seeing, that's not, even if it's the exact same layout, I guarantee you that you don't got the same couch. I
Yeah.
guarantee you that black woman that he got in the picture frame, that's not in your house as well. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So there's something more to it, man. There's got to be something more to it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Just gotta hope, like you said, EJ. I think the biggest thing is hoping that someone gets involved, Department of Justice or whomever. And like you said, with scumbag in office, you don't foresee that happening. And then, of course, the state that it's in, you know what I mean? It's not like it was in a fucking blue state. It was in a state where they hate anything that's not them. So.
The one good thing that I hope may happen is that you had a lot of the presidential candidates on the Democratic side who have talked about this, whether it was Kamala, Beto, Warren, Bernie, Biden. All of them have given at least lip service to this case. So should whoever is the eventual nominee end up winning the election and then they come in office in 2021, the statute of limitations for the Justice Department to come in and bring a civil rights violation against Geiger will still be available for them. And so hopefully that new attorney general under the new administration, if they win in 2020, would come in and have the Department of Justice look at that. But as long as Trump is president, and regardless of his Bill Barr or whoever else he puts in, I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's so much going on in Texas during this presidential run, right? The 2 shootings.
Yeah.
Now this, the 2 mass shootings, that is, and then now this. It's amazing. But yeah, let's hope for it. For it. So, who do you guys got in the NBA Finals this year? On a lighter note.
Yeah.
In the East, I mean, it's so unpredictable. I would have to say Milwaukee from the East, maybe. I told y'all a number of times on the cast, Brooklyn is not going to be what people think they are. KD is not coming back this season. I would be hard pressed for him to come back next season. At the start of next season, Kyrie is injury prone. I think Brooklyn blew up their nucleus that they had that went to the playoffs this year. I think Toronto, while they have a decent team, let's face it, Kawhi was that team. He's no longer there. I think Boston, now that they may have gotten rid of Kyrie, maybe they can return back to form in which they were, the year prior to him getting there. But they don't have Rozier, but they did pick up some other folks. I have to say Milwaukee to me might be the favorite coming out of the East. I mean, you got Philly. Philly might be Philly, but they got some guys. So it might be between, I hate to say it, Philly and the Bucks out of the East. Out of the West, I'm thinking, LeBron and AD, barring AD doesn't get hurt. LeBron got hurt for the first time last year, and everything went to shit. But I mean, then you got the Clippers. Houston. It's everybody's in the West. It's just like, is it even going to be worth watching the East try to play? Like, I don't know. I feel like LeBron might be in the finals this year though versus the Bucks.
I agree with a lot of what you said, EJ, on the East. I think it's really the Bucks and the 76ers. However, Toronto, they're champs, so you can't just write them off, so I would put them in the realm of possibility, although I don't really believe it, but they, to beat a man, you got to beat the man, right? So, so you got to give them at least a chance. On the West, the West is very interesting to me, just because the last 4 or 5 years is essentially been Golden State and then everybody else. And then everybody else in the West has, loaded up. Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George now. Lakers got LeBron and AD. Westbrook went to Houston now to play with Harden and Chris Paul. And you still got Golden State, who still has Clay, Draymond, and Steph. So it's not like you can just write them off. So the West is
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah. So the West is going to be very compelling to watch. Who comes out of it? I think injury, like EJ said, is a big factor. We know that AD is injury prone. LeBron has pretty much been solid his whole career in terms of injury, but last year he had his first serious injury. So is that the first of many, or just a one-time occurrence? And can a ball hog like Russell Westbrook play with a ball hog like James Harden? So it's a lot of it's a lot of interesting scenarios out in the West. Who goes from there? I I think that barring injury, it could be the Lakers. I don't really see the Clippers doing it, but then I think you also got to watch Houston. I think Houston is they have a very strong team last year that got way better by adding Westbrook. So, it's anybody's game in the West.
Yeah, I think yeah, the East Coast is, or the Eastern Conference is shit. It's gonna be, I would assume, barring injury, it's Philly or the Bucks, maybe Boston. But they lost Horford, which is big, and Philly gained Horford, which is really big.
Mhm.
Unless someone like the Bulls make some moves, right? The Bulls, they have Zach LaVine, they have a decent young nucleus. If they can go and make a move with OKC and bring in Chris Paul, and maybe go try and make a run and grab somebody else, another star, they could sneak through in the East possibly. But yeah, the East is going to be whack. I think we're going to see the best of the playoffs and what should be the finals in the Western Conference Finals. I think
Yeah.
it comes down to Lakers. I think it's going to be Lakers Clippers or Lakers Houston in the Western Conference Finals, and that's going to be our actual finals. Don't forget that the Lakers also picked up Dwight Howard while being pretty much washed up with AD there, with
Mhm.
LeBron there. All he's got to do is grab 12 boards a game.
Yeah.
Rondo's there. Rondo will be running the point. Excuse me. They still got JaVale McGee, who in the fucking preseason game grabbed something like 21 fucking rebounds or something like that. Like it was insane. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they're going to be big. That team is going to be big, and it's going to really come down to, I think, Paul George staying healthy. Kawhi Leonard, we know will stay healthy, but Clippers are no slouch. And then and Houston having Capella, he's going to have to be big in the paint against those guys. And they're going to have to hope that when the shit hits the fan, Russell Westbrook can make his jump shots.
Mhm.
And like you said, if there's enough shots to go around for the two of them, because they're both trying to put 50 up a night. If Russ can stick to his triple doubles and bring those triple doubles down to 18 points a game, 15 points a game, and actually run the point and still have Harden put up his 30, 40 a night, they can do something. But
And
if Russ is still trying to do 30, I don't see that happening.
Chris Paul's with OKC now.
Right.
But they don't. I don't think they have anything to offer. But yeah, I agree with y'all. The West is, and then the season is just about to start this week. I just think it's too many games. Like I just think it's too many games for me. Like
And there's Denver too, man. Don't forget about Jokic and them boys.
and
They was
Utah and Utah.
and Utah got good too. Got better.
Yeah.
With the moves they made. So Western Conference is going to be worth it, and it sucks because we're not going to see the games because they're going to be on 10 o'clock at night every night.
Yeah. That's the shit that sucks. But one thing that I kind of like now is that and I hope the NBA does this season, where how the NFL started putting like those long highlights on YouTube, where you have like a 10-12 minute highlight, and even if you didn't watch the game, you can kind of get a good feel for what happened by watching that long highlight versus watching a 15-second clip on Sports Center, And
Right.
so for those games that you can't watch because they started at 10:30 on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast, if they put out those highlights the way the NFL does on YouTube, you might be able to get a little bit more of a better sense of those games by watching those highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, for me, I like watching Inside the NBA. And I just wish, I don't know, man. I wish they could. I don't know how they could do it, but wish they could incorporate that and try and get some of those Western Conference games on a little bit earlier.
Speaking of inside the NBA, let me throw a curveball in here. Did y'all check out the Shaq versus Dame Dollars diss tracks?
Yes.
Yeah, I I didn't hear Shaq's second one. He
I
just put
heard
a
it.
second one out, right?
I heard it. It
And
was
how that?
it was better than the first one. First of all, by a huge margin, it was better because one, you could actually hear him. It didn't sound like he taped it in a closet, you know. And but he did it on the Victory beat, the Biggie joint Victory.
Oh, okay.
He did that beat, and he still kept it like mostly talking about basketball, like, you know, I'm one of the greatest, you know, I got all these accomplishments, rings, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The flow was a little bit better, but it wasn't that great, you know. So I'm interested to see how Dame responds. But I thought in the round one, Dame got him. Like it wasn't even
Yeah,
a
Dame
question.
smoked them. Dame smoked them.
Yeah,
Every
and I
time
don't.
you get horny, somebody get a new bag. I was like,
Oh,
whoa.
hey, but EJ, it ain't tricking if you got it right.
Right.
No, it's tricking. It's tricking. Maybe because I ain't got it. If I had it, I'd probably be like, "Nah, it ain't tricking." Yeah, fucking. It is what it is. Dame, he need to go focus on, since he don't want to leave Portland and he don't want to team up with nobody. He better go focus on winning. Stop,
Yeah.
stop worrying about Shaq and rapping, because
Yeah, he should. To me, he should have went somewhere east and carried the team out there, made some noise out there. Because it's like I don't know, man. The parody. I don't know. I don't know if it got, because we were talking about how we felt at some point it got a little bit more competitive all around the league. But then it's like when the majority of the firepower is in one conference, it's kind of like, I don't know, what's the point?
yeah.
Like, just give the Bucks and 76ers Eastern Conference Finals now and just play whoever comes out of there, out of the dogfight. I mean, I think the bottom half of the Eastern teams, I think due to injuries and due to different things, you might see some new teams in the playoffs. Like, I'm hoping that my Knicks could get an eighth seed. Like, we got a lot of depth, and we looked decent tonight playing the Wizards without Wall and just Beal, who he can't carry that team by himself. Um, we might have some guys that make a run, but is it really gonna matter? I don't know. It's just, are you really gonna see competitive series? Are you, it's just, I don't know. NBA, I don't know.
I gotta disagree with you a little bit, EJ, and the reason why is that on this same cast, not this cast, but on our podcast in general, like, we've killed guys for leaving. Like, why not build somewhere you at? And here's this guy staying, with the team who drafted him in a small market. And so I think we should give him some credit for that. Whereas, like, LeBron has been killed, other guys have been killed for shopping themselves around, chasing championships, etc. And here's this guy staying with the Portland team that drafted him to try to bring them a championship. Is it going to happen? No, but but I mean, I think you should get some credit for that.
Nah, I've given them credit in the past for sure, but I mean, Portland is not. They're clearly not doing anything to help you get over the hump. So it's kind of like, at what point does he really lose faith in what that management has got going on? They haven't gotten him anybody. I mean, the best person he's had as far as CJ McCollum, and no knock to him, he's been playing great, but are they really going to have enough pieces to really get over the hump? And the West just got even stronger. I don't know.
Well, they have Nurkic. He just ended up getting hurt though, but Nurkic is a really good center, and they brought who the fuck did they bring in? Didn't they bring somebody from Denver in? Another big man. On Portland for when Nurkic went out, got hurt.
All I remember is ain't Zabonis kid on there. Zabonis' son.
Yeah,
Sabonis was I don't know about that. He was drafted by the Magic and they traded him. Maybe it was to them. Um, but Portland, they also have Hassan Whiteside now.
We traded him from the Heat.
Trash can juice.
Yeah, pretty much. Catfish.
Uh, it was Nurkic. Oh shit, they brought in Herzonia. They brought in some people. So all right, so the Blazers they had Dame Dollar, they had CJ McCollum, they still got Paul Gasol washed.
Yeah.
Nurkic will be back, Hassan Whiteside, whatever. But they Zach Collins is there, Mario Herzonia they brought in, Kent Bazemore they brought in from Atlanta, Rodney Hood is still there. Um, these aren't big names, but
Yeah.
it's bench depth, bench depth.
It's a
They're
solid
not gonna
team.
win.
Yeah, it's not a team you're gonna win 60 games with, but you'll be competitive, you know. But but yeah, I just think, to his credit, good job staying there where a lot of guys would have been like, they're not really putting much around me, so I'm gonna join KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn. Or, I'm gonna join there's a hole in Toronto, so I'm gonna go there and try to get a championship with these guys or whatever. And he's basically, sticking with the guys that drafted him. Like Giannis said, Giannis was like, he's not leaving, he's staying in Milwaukee. Now it seems like Milwaukee's, trying to make sure they can win, but to his credit, he says staying. He's not going to team up with anybody to chase rings, which I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But I do think that the guys who stay and try to have the team built around them do deserve some credit for doing so.
I agree. Portland's a hard one. Portland is a fucking god. I mean, what is there in Portland? What is in Portland? Isn't that like that's the Portland in Oregon, right? That's not
Yes,
like the Portland in Canada.
Portland, Oregon.
Oh man, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon.
and he said that he stays on. He said he lives out there when he's
like in the off season.
In the off season, says he lives in Portland.
Shit,
which is crazy, dog.
Yeah,
I don't know if I
but
can do that.
Hey, you know what though, man? Some of these guys, like I remember I saw a interview with Randy Moss, and he was talking about how for a while in the off season he was living in this in I want to say was it West Palm Beach? I don't know if it was West Palm. It was somewhere in South Florida where like a lot of like old people live. And he was like, he loved that shit because it's quiet. Nobody's like stalking him outside his house, asking for autographs. He was like, they let him do him, and they do them. He does him. And he said he loved that shit. So maybe it's like a thing like that for Dame.
Yeah, because he's from Compton, right?
Yeah.
PJ?
Oh, he's from like Watts or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not far. He's like Watt. I think Watts. He's not far though. He's. I want to say Watts.
Okay. So it's definitely quieter. Definitely quieter there than it is in LA.
Yeah. So he's from Oakland.
Oh, he's from Oakland. Okay. Yeah, the NBA is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So NFL recap. Anything big this week that you guys
Hell yeah.
that stuck out?
I was watching. I got to go straight into it. I was watching the Mason Rudolph hit live. I thought he died. I thought he died, yo. I mean, I could tell he was knocked out, like literally like a boxer, but I thought he died. I mean, it was ugly, yo. It was ugly. I mean, it just the hit and then hitting the turf and then barely being able to walk. I was just like, yo, this dude is dead.
Yeah, when you posted that in the chat, I went on online and I started looking for it because I wasn't watching that game. And when I found it, I was like, whoa, like that shit looked super scary. Like regardless, who your team is, whether you like the Steelers, hate the Steelers, etc., you don't want to see a guy get hit like that. And it wasn't like it was anything dirty. It's just one of those, kind of consequences of the game that he plays, And the thing that I didn't like the most about that situation was the fact that he was allowed to walk off the field. And I think that, you know, the team doctors and the trainers, etc., they have to save these players from themselves. You know, these guys want to appear to be tough guys, and they don't want to seem weak, etc., etc. But you just essentially got knocked unconscious. You don't know if something's going on with your brain, with, you know, your spinal cord, anything, you know. And, you know, yeah, you could be like, I'm not no bitch, you know, whatever, whatever. But in that immediate moment, you don't know what's wrong with you. And he should have allowed himself to be taken off on the cart. I mean, I know the cart broke down, but they could have got another one out there. But he should have allowed himself to be taken off and then be evaluated, and then maybe come back on the sideline, even though he couldn't play due to being in the concussion protocol. But I think that these guys are gonna end up hurting them. It hasn't happened yet, but somebody's gonna hurt themselves more than the initial injury by trying to be a fucking tough guy and walk off the field and show, you know, that you're not no bitch or whatever. You know, I thought that that was very irresponsible on the medical staff to allow a guy who was seemingly knocked unconscious to just walk off the field.
Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with you. You know, within the age that we're in, the climate where the NFL is supposedly making all these rule changes and shit to keep things safe, and you know they're replying or responding to the you know the all the concussions and stuff like that. Um, it was not handled correctly at all. Those guys, you know, he when I saw him, so when EJ posted the same thing, I went and I'm like, all right, let me see if I can find this and shit. And then, you know, I was watching it on Sunday Ticket, so I went to the Steelers game, and they showed the replay, and he threw up the gang signs, right? And
Yeah,
what the gang signs is like when somebody gets shot or something, like when somebody dies, their fucking hand or you know something stiffens up. You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like if a major artery or something gets hit, and I was like, yo, this dude is he might be dead.
Yeah,
Like when you know, I was seriously like, damn. And you know, and then I'm like, oh yeah, he's done. They're gonna have to cart him off or whatever. And then EJ's like, oh, he walked off. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah,
How you know,
And the walk
like
off
you said,
nasty because he could barely move. Like this shit was nasty.
exactly.
and like you said, man, you don't know what kind of damage has been done in there, especially because he got hit up under the jaw. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It could have been a neck injury. And you know, as a football player, you have to assume that these guys have pride, right?
Yeah,
They want to be tough. They don't want to be that weak guy, that guy that got number one that got carted off if they can um control it or whatever the case is. Um so yeah, you know, like you said, they do need to protect these guys from themselves. You know, that should have been the coaching staff, that should have been the medical staff that was like, no, no, stay your fucking ass right there until we go
mm-hmm.
ahead and if we got to bring in the fucking whatever they use to water the grass, you know, or we got to bring a lawnmower in because the carts are down, you know, we're gonna get you the fuck off here, but you're not walking off because he could have done even more severe damage. What if his neck was fucked up?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah, what do you guys think about the actual hit from Earl Thomas? Like people
I,
are kind of giving him the pass, saying it was clean.
I don't think it was dirty. You think it was
Yeah.
dirty?
No, I don't think it was dirty.
I don't think it was dirty. I didn't because he hit him. He hit him. His helmet hit his. Hit him on the face mask. I just didn't. I kind of felt like the angle that he was taking was kind of suspect to me because he had time to kind of get into his body and he wasn't low enough. Do I think he like intentionally hit him like that? I don't really know. But I just found it interesting that they kind of ruled it out, with no penalties or anything like that, because he kind of went in kind of high, to me. I mean, I've said it on the cast plenty of times, going back to the way I played and the way I was raised to play. I wouldn't give a fuck, honestly, but it was just interesting to me to see kind of that he got that pass so quickly because he was kind of high to me. Kind of high. But
Yeah, he got. I mean, so there's a neurologist that they interviewed that said that there's probably going to be brain damage due to the hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, he went out like a boxer, man. Like literally, if you ever seen a boxer get rocked in the ring, that's exactly what happened off top, man. And he was super stiff, man. I mean, like you said, see, some oxygen at some point had to stop flowing.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it
crazy,
was scary, man. It was scary.
super scary. And then the dude from the I was watching this live too. The Colts, Kamoko Ture broke his ankle.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
I saw that shit. As soon as he rolled over and his foot was going that way and his leg was going that way, I was like, God damn it.
Mm.
And there's been a lot of
Oh,
ankle breakages, a lot of foot and ankle breakages this season already.
that
It's been
was
a lot.
bad, yo. I saw that shit on TV. I was like, oh my god, it turned my stomach.
Damn.
Turned my stomach. It's fucking. Oh, it was bad, yo. It was bad. Definitely ligament damage in there with that one.
Yeah, the
Without
ankle's
a doubt.
broken for sure. That shit. Oh, ugh.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
The thing for me that kind of stood out this weekend, I watched that the Saints Bucks game live, and
mhm.
I mean Michael Thomas is a great receiver already, and so you would think that these guys would want to know where he's at all times during the game. And that's just a normal team. We're talking about the Bucks who play these motherfuckers twice a year. It's like, how are they not keeping an eye on Thomas? Like he's roasting these motherfuckers,
Mhm.
it was crazy to watch how they just kept losing this dude. And it wasn't even like they were doing, like double slants and chipping the DB and shit like that. It was just like straight up blown coverage, getting beat. It was nasty, yo. It was nasty. It looked like a man amongst boys out there in that game, yo. And that's with the backup quarterback. It's not like it's Drew Brees roasting you. And it ain't. I mean, I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is like some piece of shit or whatever.
He is.
But it's one thing if you're getting roasted by Breeze. It's the backup quarterback who's roasting you out there. And Steve said something in our chat, and I think it's a fair question when he talked about the same thing we used to say about Hopkins, where Hopkins seems to do whatever he does regardless of the quarterback. And is it time to put Thomas up there in that conversation, of elite receivers.
We already had him up there. Me and Steve were the only two at some point saying he's top 5 guy. I forget who was arguing. Was it E that was arguing he's not a top 5 guy?
When we're talking about draft
Yeah, yeah.
spots.
He's
Mhm.
he's top 5, hands down. And me and Steve were pretty consistent on our feelings about AB in this matter because, again, even when we thought we were going to see what AB might look like with a subpar or not a subpar or just good to average quarterback, he gets up out of Oakland and then goes to the great one. You know what I mean? So we still, to this day, have never seen him play with an average to good quarterback. And to your point, Hopkins, had to suffer before getting Deshaun Watson, even had to suffer through Deshaun Watson's rookie struggles. And then Michael Thomas, of course, had Drew Brees, but Teddy Bridgewater is a former starter in the
Mhm.
league. And I mean, I think prior to his injury, and even now, he could definitely start for somebody's team. So it's not like, again, like you said, he's not a scrub, um, contrary to what Steve believes, but like you said, he was targeted 11 times. Well, he got like 11 receptions, 182 for 2 touchdowns. I mean,
Mhm.
he balled out.
Yeah.
He balled
Yeah,
out.
he's matchup proof, and to your point, VP, on the other side of that game, the Saints did the exact opposite. They kept Mike Evans to 0.
Yeah.
Donut, no catches, No catches, no runs, no nothing. Like Mike Evans didn't show up. He should have just stayed in the showers. Now, I mean, Godwin ate because of that, but Evans didn't get shit. He didn't get shit
Yeah.
off. Um, so yeah, I think Michael Thomas, man, you gotta call him one of the top guys, if not the top guy. When you start to look at it, Julio Jones he's donezo, right? And he's got Matt Ryan. I wouldn't say he's donezo, but he's not what he used to be.
Yeah.
And he's got other guys with him. Like he's got Calvin Ridley, he's got
Sanu.
Mohamed Sanu,
Hooper at
so
tight end. Mhm.
yeah, he's got people, but Michael Thomas, you figure he's playing with now. Granted, he's got an Alvin Kamara, to help out there, but the likes of Ted Ginn as the
Yeah.
second wide receiver, um, and Michael Thomas is not fast like that. He just runs amazing routes.
Mhm.
He reads the defense while the play is going, and he finds the holes in the zone like no other. Dude is a monster.
Yeah.
I
He
think
is.
is I think we always forget in football there's 40 speed and game speed, and it's like Jerry Rice ran one of the slowest 40s ever,
Mhm.
but on game time he was super fast, and I think Michael Thomas, man, is way more athletic than people give him credit. Big receiver, like you said, finds those spots, and he's a dog, man. I think Julio suffers from Matt Ryan, and the Falcons did just offensively, they just never really seem to get it right. And I don't know. I feel bad for Julio Jones because, again, in comparison to AB, he had Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger compared to Ryan, no comparison. You know what I mean? If I was Julio, I might have explored leaving, some time ago and went to New England or something like that. He would have been a perfect fit for New England. Quiet guy, athletic, gonna get it done, working with Tom Brady, but he chose to chase the bag, which, me and VP have always agreed can't knock that for sure.
How much longer before Dan Quinn gets fired
I think
in
it's pretty
Atlanta?
soon, man. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty soon for
Yeah.
sure.
Arthur Blank tried to play the game like, oh no, no, he's safe. But yeah, I think I think he's got 2 more weeks. If he don't if he don't win both of those weeks, I think they're gonna get him the fuck out of there. Gruden's gone. Um Jay Gruden
Yeah.
from Washington.
Did
So
you
I
did
mean,
you read how they fired him, Jay Gruden?
mm-mm.
The owner and the GM called this motherfucker in at 5 a.m. and fired him.
No.
And then he was caught out there smoking weed trying to talk to
Yeah,
some young chick.
I saw that.
What?
You didn't see? I
You didn't
posted in
see
the
that?
chat.
Yo,
Oh my
he was out
god.
here. He was out here somewhere smoking weed,
Yeah.
trying to finesse some young John, looking at it, looking
After?
like he was in. No, this was
No,
before.
that's
Like
before.
literally, it might have been literally like after the loss or something like that. Or I don't remember when exactly. It was like last couple of days or something. Like it might have been before the game. I don't remember, but yeah, man, it didn't look good, and yeah, he was wilding, man.
Big time.
Fuck.
But Dan Quinn was in that new head coaching class with Todd Bowles, and while he took them to the Super Bowl that year, or I mean, some time ago, I would say otherwise he's underachieved considerably. They had really high hopes for this guy, but then again, this goes back to seeing that defensive coaches lately have not been panning out. For the most part, I can't think of anybody other than Belichick that have really been having success at the head coaching spot. And Quinn and Bowles are both defensive coordinator guys, and Bowles had that 10-win season. Should have been 11, but screwed it up. But him and Quinn, I think the only thing that might have bailed Quinn out thus far was that they had a Super Bowl appearance. But I mean, if anything, shit, they blew a huge ass lead. So and they haven't done shit since. So yeah, I
I
wouldn't.
mean, I would argue that the Super Bowl appearance hurts him in
That's
that
what I'm saying.
aspect, just
Yeah.
because of blowing that lead. I mean, you're
Hmm.
up 28-3, and you run the ball 3 times.
Yep.
And at some point, he had your boy, the San Fran coach, out there trying to prove that he's some kind of fucking offensive genius to get this.
Shanahan.
Yeah, Shanahan, to get that job, even though he already had it secured. At some point, as the head coach, you got to take over and start managing this shit and tell this dude, like, yo, run the ball and then run it again and then run it some more. You know, like, it's
Mhm.
no way that it should have been enough clock left to allow a team to come back on you when you're up 28-3. That's insane. And even though it's Shanahan calling the plays, you're still the head coach. And so I think that Super Bowl appearance hurts him in some aspects as far as keeping his job, because he cost that franchise their chance at their first championship.
Yep, without a doubt. Um, my biggest takeaway this week, I think, is um, Russell Wilson might be the best quarterback in the league. I
Right about
mean,
now,
I mean,
what's the kid?
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Pat,
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes is there, but Pat Mahomes has only thrown one touchdown in the last 2 games.
mm-hmm.
You know, is he elusive? Absolutely. Can he extend the play? Absolutely. Does he make amazing throws? Sure. Um, but with the pressure, I mean, he got pressured under Detroit, and they barely made it out of there, and then they lost this week to an amazing underdog. They were favored 11 points, and they ended up losing this week. Granted, he was hurt. He got banged up pretty badly, but I mean, Russell Wilson is out there balling. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not taking anything from Pat Mahomes. Just saying that when you're comparing them, and Russell Wilson doesn't have a fucking Travis Kelsey. You know what I mean?
He's got
Uh,
he's got he's
Tyler
got the young
Lockett,
guy. Nah, man,
Will
that tight end.
Disley.
Yeah, Disley's looking pretty good. He might
Is he
emerge to
looking good,
be.
or is Russ making him look good?
Nah, I mean he's talented. He might emerge to be one of those guys because I mean Russ has produced guys to become talent. I mean he might be talented, but I agree with you on the outsides. He definitely don't have a lot to sneeze at.
Yeah, he's got Tyler Lockett. He's got the rookie kid. What the fuck's his name? DK. Uh,
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
DK
Hmm.
Metcalf. And in Will Disley, right? And the running game, even though they got 37 running backs over there, fucking Rashad Penny, Chris Carson, CJ Prosise, like, you know, um, I don't know, man. Russ is out there balling. He's making it happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, my other takeaway, not to bring up a sore subject for you, Steve, but the Cowboys lost, and all of the media hate on Dak today is just like,
Oh yeah,
yo, I mean, dude threw for career high
four
yards.
hundred.
He had some bad intos. One was definitely pass interference. I don't think they dialed up the right game because I don't think they pressed the ball, running the ball enough. Um, but I mean, damn, he could have one bad game. Like, goddamn, not even saying he had a bad game overall. I mean, threw intos, turned the ball over. But damn, I mean, the disrespect is just like Dak isn't the guy. He isn't the guy we thought he was, and all of this nonsense. It's just like, and I was listening to Colin Cowherd and his argument. It was just like, what is he talking about? And and it was like prior to this game, Aaron Rodgers has been playing just as shaky as anybody else. It
And he
just it
played
kind
like
of
shit this game. If it wasn't for Aaron Jones, you got to remember, Aaron Rodgers had 227 yards, no touchdowns this
Yeah.
yeah
game. You know,
yeah. And I mean, coming into it from the Eagles loss, I felt like Aaron Rodgers had been playing like shit all season, and it's just like, damn, to see the media just turn on Dak so quickly, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, with that Dallas game, it was a tale of two halves. and he had a great second half, and nearly a comeback. Almost doesn't count, but whatever. But I also wonder how much of Dak's contract situation plays into this shit, because he's going out there probably thinking, I got to go out here and shine. I got to ball and show them why I deserve what I'm asking for
Yeah.
versus, what they're offering me.
Yeah.
And, that got to be in the back of his head a little bit, make sure I call the right play, make sure I'm throwing the right pass. I got to be tight. I got to be tight. I got to be tight. And, whereas if he has that contract signed and the bag is secured, he can go out there and play a little more, loose and just be himself. Whereas you go out there trying to be this perfectionist to show them why you're old, what you're old, And so I think that they need to try to get this contract situation wrapped up. And I think that'll definitely take a monkey off of his back to allow him to, play his game.
Yep, that's part of it. And there's two things there, right? Actually, there's a few things there. Things number one and two, you got two quarterbacks. One being the head coach and one being the offensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett. And quarterbacks, they want to throw. They think throwing the ball is the way to go.
Mhm.
And so the last two games where we lost against Green Bay, there was some missed calls, but you know what? If it wasn't for some bad plays and some bad play calls, that they could have won that game. And then same thing last week. So against New Orleans, the game script should have been come out and run the ball, come out and run the ball, come out and run the ball. Keep those keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, right? And keep Kamara off the field and keep Michael Thomas off the field. Thing about it is, Aaron Rodgers, even though his game wasn't the greatest, it's his intelligence, right? It's his QB awareness that makes that game, because there was a point there where I don't know, you guys probably don't remember, but he ran a bootleg play action, then bootlegged around to the other side, and just took 2 yards and slid in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Any other quarterback might have tried to make that throw and killed, and stopped the clock, or thrown the ball and made a bad throw and it got intercepted, or whatever the case may be, right? Him, like Tom Brady, like Drew Brees, knowing clock control, knowing what you're working with, and knowing that these guys are fucking hot right now and they're coming from behind, and the defense is fucking stepped it up, and they're stopping us right now, getting stupid amounts of pressure. He was smart enough to know that, and and then it turned into Dak throwing a fucking interception. So, granted it was pass interference, but it is what it is. They got to come out, and if you don't go down 17-0, then you potentially win that game.
Yeah, VP's point. I watched one throw in particular. That was one of the earlier interceptions where Dak tried to like thread the needle. And to your point, Steve, these veteran quarterbacks, they're taking what the defense is giving them. And this is largely why I knocked the coaching, because I seen it with Sam Darnold when he was playing before the mono, holding the ball too long, trying to fit things in the window. These guys are just not taking the check downs at the right time, because it was like a point in time where I was like, Dak, just check it down. You know what I mean? This dude, like, I don't know what it is nowadays where these quarterbacks are seeing a middle linebacker out on their receipt on their running back with like 5 yards depth, 5 to 10 yards depth, thinking that the linebacker is going to win that situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's never supposed to be the case. And as the running back, as a coach, there used to be options. You have the option routes. If I see a linebacker's got me on boys, which is, backer on us, man-to-man situation, I'm going to come out. I'm going to break off. I'm going to just do some shit and just be an open option for my quarterback. And I saw Zeke just tail it out and just keep running the wheel route wider and wider. And I'm just like, they're not bailing him out at all. And I mean, to some degree, it's like if that middle opens up, Dak, you're not the slowest guy. Take that shit and
Run.
run. You know, I
Mhm.
that shit's been pissing me off about him his entire career. It seems like he's forcing himself to try to be this pocket passer, cookie cutter quarterback like all the other guys. And I just think that's a product of coaching, man. I think it's a product of coaching. And the VP's point, you know, that contract, just trying to, you know, prove that I can be the gunslinger. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
And that interception you're talking about, Zeke was actually open under like 4 yards under. So if he would have just went with that, and it wasn't like it was third down, I think it was first down.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys just have to, they got to be willing to like you said, take what the defense gives them. And it's not just Dak, it's all of these young guys. I mean, Wentz, it's fucking Daniel Jones, it's and those guys are Daniel Jones is brand new, you know. But when you have a Wentz, a Dak, these guys are a few years in, and they got to start. You got to start showing that, that awareness and understanding. I got to live to play another down.
Right.
Baker Mayfield made that mistake tonight a lot against San Francisco, where they got blown out. But even early on in the game, the when he fumbled, dude, just go down or throw it away. Live to play another fucking down. He fumbles and gives it back to him, and they end up scoring a touchdown and go down 14-0.
And
You know?
cost me my other league by 1 point
Yeah.
because they had San Fran defense.
Oh,
Man, I think Baker needs to he needs to just shut the fuck up and play football, man. Because all this talk and getting into, Twitter shit and responding at press conferences and all the bravado and stuff like that, like, you're not showing me nothing that shows that you should have this type of attitude. And I get that these guys feel like they're the best in the world and et cetera, but you know, Baker comes in with a lot of bravado, and what you're getting in the results, that bravado is not justified. You know what I'm saying? What's that shit from the Bible? Acts without deeds or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Or something without words, without work,
what?
or something.
Anal beads? What the fuck are you talking about?
It's something about words without deeds. Like he talks a lot of shit. He don't back it up with his play. Is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I said, man, Baker needs to just shut the fuck up, get out there and ball out in practice and show up in these fucking games. Because I mean, we were talking about Cleveland potentially being a wild card team, and after Ben went down, I don't know if they would have won the division or not with Baltimore, but Cleveland should be in the mix, and they look like shit. You got Odell, Landry. I mean, I know Njoku got hurt. Chubb, fucking they got guys on defense. They play, they look like shit, man. Like,
They do.
this shit is bad, yo. This shit is bad.
Yeah, they didn't show at all tonight, man. They didn't show at all. I mean, it's that's why it's gonna be any given Sunday. And right now, 49ers and the Patriots so far, looking like the it guys. And I mean, the Colts to get that W that they did, that was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge for them. But it's gonna be crazy going forward, man, and kind of see how it shakes out. But to keep it real, man, I mean, ain't nobody beating the Patriots, man. That defense is so dialed in right now. Tom Brady is so dialed in right now. And this game, they decided to run the ball. Sony Michel had a day. Them dudes. I'm at the point where I'm like, just win and fucking leave. Just win and leave. Just win and leave, man. Leave. Just win and leave, please.
Yeah, he's not even using all his weapons. Like Josh Gordon ain't even getting it.
Nope. Need somebody to put that Mason Rudolph on Brady ass.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
That's why I couldn't be a coach, man. I'd be like, yo, take that lead hit.
Yeah, Greg Williams, these motherfuckers, yo.
Take the lead hit.
I can't. Yeah, man. It's just like, come on, man. Just win and leave, yo. Because they're just dialed in, man. They are dialed in, dialed
Yep.
in.
Yep.
It's nuts.
I don't know what it's going to take to beat them, but we play them. We play them in November at some point. Cowboys play them in November in fucking um
New England,
Foxborough. Yeah. Yep.
Shit.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. You got the Battle of the Bastards this week. Fucking Washington versus oh man.
They calling that shit the tank ball.
Yeah. battle for Tua.
Golly.
Man.
Nah, they can't be. I mean, Washington ain't going for Tua. They just got Haskins.
Nah, I'm just like they both just.
But yeah,
they're both the battle for the first round pick, basically.
Y'all better watch fucking the Bengals. They gonna sneak in and swipe it off of y'all.
Mm-hmm. And they talking about AJ Green ain't coming back this week neither.
Yeah,
I told you, man, that dude.
Well, they're saying that part of it is possibly due to contract. So they're saying, that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, as bad as we're playing in Miami, watching the games each week, they're getting better. I mean, they're not winning.
Yeah,
but the defense starting to look more cohesive. The offense last week, I was surprised they were giving Rosen time to throw, and that first half of the game, it was like, yo, who's this team? Came out of halftime and it was like, oh, it's us. So
the Dolphins. That's
there we are.
So yeah, I was surprised last week's first half, man. I was feeling myself, and then we came out that fucking locker room, and it's like they went back to week one. So
I feel like the Jets might not win a game because the offense is so bad. Like
the Jets are defeated.
I mean, yeah,
like they haven't won anything.
We haven't won shit. No,
I thought they won one.
No, game one we should have won, and then we let Buffalo come back. Who Buffalo is 4-1, by the way. Yeah, and then Sam Darnold been out, and it just that defense. While we don't have anyone at corner that's worth talking about, even Tremaine, has been up and down and not even getting playing time and all types of stupid shit. This defense has been like playing really well. It's just they've been on the field forever. We can't move the ball. And it's like for Gase to be this offensive genius, granted, we have our third string quarterback in right now, but the play calling is just terrible, and it just doesn't seem like anyone even wants to play for this guy at this point. I'm hoping, I think they might try to get Sam back this week against the Cowboys, which might make a difference. I think we might get Herndon back soon.
They might kill him on the field.
Well, I mean, yeah, they said his spleen is gone down. I mean, he was looking like he might have played this week, but I don't know how much of a difference. Darnold clearly talent-wise is better than Falk, but I don't know that Gase is calling the right games. And it's like you got this defense out here that if the offense just scored a little bit and controlled some of the clock, they might be better off. But I don't know that we can score the ball. I score any points. I don't know.
Le'Veon needs 30 touches a game combined between catches and runs. Like, there's no way he's not touching the ball that much. When you guys, I mean, does Robbie Anderson still play for you guys? Like, I know he's on the roster, but I don't think I don't think there was any passes completed this week.
I mean, they man, again, Darnold might make a hell of a difference coming back.
If he stopped kissing transvestites.
Yo, when I saw that shit, Darnold got mono. I'm like, who the fuck catches mono in 2019, yo? Like, this motherfucker might as well have had polio. Like,
he went to a college party and
like, what the fuck? Like I'm like I
Oh,
haven't heard mono since I was in fucking high school, yo.
only the Jets, man. Only
Bruh,
the Jets.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I knew shit was bad when we lost to the Bills after we were up. I was just like, what the fuck, man? And that, it's those games that make so much of a difference. The Bills beat us, and then they're 4-1 now.
Mm-hmm.
They figure, hey, we gutted this out. It wasn't pretty, but we made it. We got the momentum. Had that been the other way around, maybe we are 4-1 or 3-2 or whatever. I mean, it's just those little things, and I think people really underestimate the quality of or the importance of having a quality head coach in football. In NBA, not so much. But in football, it's a major thing. And I just don't think Gase just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's
Um,
not.
I wouldn't even have gotten him. But that was McCagnon, being an asshole, not getting what's his name, McCarthy, because McCarthy would have been a threat for his job to kind of run the GM and kind of coach thing. But Douglas has got to. If I'm Douglas, I'm sitting here thinking, yo, man, I'm firing your ass before the season's over.
Gates is a good coordinator. They should just got more money, and everybody's not cut out for that shit. I remember when I was in college and I was taking this management course, and the professor was like, "You have a guy who's in sales, like let's say he's selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and he has a neighborhood and he's always doing good. So they give him another neighborhood, he's doing good. Add a third neighborhood, he's doing good. Then they make him like a district manager, he does okay. Then they make him a regional manager because he's so good at sales. And now because he's good at sales, but he sucks at managing, everything starts going to shit. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
instead of just saying, hey, this guy's good at selling vacuum cleaners, so let's just give him some more money. You say, let's promote this motherfucker. And that's Gase. Gase is a good coordinator. He's not a head coach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not yeah, yeah. Same old story in the league all the time.
Yeah.
But we
like
know the
homeboy in New England, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
hmm
Same thing. Great coordinator, shitty coach.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Shitty coach.
I don't know.
Um, yeah. So yeah. With that, we will be back Sunday morning. Sunday mornings we'll be doing some pre-game NFL, pre-NFL banter going forward. That'll be live on Facebook and soon to be live on YouTube once the stream for YouTube kicks in. So we'll be back on Sunday morning. We'll recap some of the picks that we made last week between myself and Senor E. Who you guys got Thursday? Giants and Patriots.
That's tough. I don't.
The Patriots are going fucking. They might have. This might be another 16-0 season.
I hope
Well,
not.
they said that the Patriots had the easiest schedule this year as well. Like when you look at their schedule, dude, I mean, they get to play the Dolphins twice, the Jets twice. Like
hmm
it's ridiculous, man.
I mean, but that's a given every year. But
So the Giants Patriots game is 16 and a half. The Patriots are giving
spread.
16. Yep. That's the exact same thing they were giving to Washington. 16 and a half.
So their next game is Giants. Following that is the Browns. We already, despite what the Browns got, we already know how that's going down, and it's in Foxborough.
Yeah.
They might take a L to the Eagles, maybe. In Philly. No, they're playing them in Philly. Yeah, they're playing them in Philly. Um, no, before that, they got the Ravens in Baltimore. That might be a loss because the Ravens just seem to get a 90th gear to play them
But
after
which Lamar Jackson shows up though.
yeah, and against Bill Belichick, no less. Um, then you got Eagles after the Ravens game. Then they play the Cowboys at home. That's in the air. Then they got the Texans. That might be a loss. They might lose 3 games, 4 games maximum at this point.
Yeah.
You're looking at Ravens, Eagles, Cowboys, Texans. Maybe take off one of those. Let's just say, let's just say even after that, the only other
13 and
threat
3.
they have after that is the Chiefs. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to beat them in Foxborough this year because Bill ain't having that shit.
They still got another one, Buffalo too, right?
Yeah.
Nah, they play Buffalo at home. So then the next games after the Chiefs is the Bengals, Bills, and they end the season in Foxborough against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys have max might lose 3 to 4 games. Max.
Yeah.
Fucking disgusting, man. And I mean, Bill Belichick, I don't know how he does it on defense, man. It's just amazing. Like, he doesn't get the credit for that defense. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And it's not even like huge name guys. It's like McCourty and fucking what was the dude that was selling coke? Patrick Chung,
Chung.
which is by the way still playing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hightower at linebacker. I mean, it's just getting it done, man.
Hightower's old too. Shit, he been there for a minute. He's
He
what,
just
like
read
6
up on
years
that
in?
he just read up on that contract too. So
Wow.
But you know what though? They don't have guys who are like household big names on defense, like you're like an Aaron Donald or something like that, But at the same time, remember on Hard Knocks when Gruden told those guys it takes no talent to give effort.
right.
And Belichick gets all the effort out of his guys. And even though they're not big name, big contract players, they go out there and give 100%. And if you got a offense that's rolling on all cylinders and putting up points, the offense that you're playing against as a defense becomes a little bit more predictable. And with a coach like Belichick, he can beat you with scheme, even though he don't got the players.
Yeah.
Do your damn job.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we got another good one on our hands. VP, if you shall do us the honors and give us a little something here.
Hey, folks! Again, we thank you for making the choice to ride with us and listen to our podcast. We're a young podcast. We're growing, and you can follow us on all of our social media at Castworthy, on Instagram at Castworthy_podcast. For those of you who like to listen to us for the sports content, please join us on Sunday morning where we're going to stream the podcast live on Facebook, where we do our football predictions and recap the previous week in football and our picks, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely rock with us there. And again, thank you for listening. We definitely appreciate you stopping by, and we'll talk to you in the next cast. Peace.